This is the AFN Evening News with Sergeant Pam Portland. Sports with Milt Fitzwater, and weather with Air Force Sergeant John Gamash.
Good evening. NATO Chief General John Galvin began a three-day visit to Spain today. The Supreme Allied Commander Europe is meeting with Spain's defense minister and top military officers to talk about that country's contribution to the North Atlantic Alliance. General Galvin's visit comes at a time when Spain is involved in negotiations with NATO aimed at setting Madrid's permanent contribution to the alliance. According to an AP account, the Spanish government has offered to serve as a rearguard European logistics base during times of crisis. On Thursday, General Galvin is scheduled to be received by King Juan Carlos. He'll return to Brussels on Friday. Well, the recent crashes of two jet fighters has fueled arguments among peace activists working to eliminate low-level flying missions in West Germany. The commander of the 17th Air Force says that public education on the necessity of such training will continue. Sergeant Charlie Gill reports.
When sky conditions are right, low-level training missions can take place on any given weekday in West Germany. The F-16 is the newest of the U.S. inventory and can streak through the sky at better than twice the speed of sound. The noise is an annoying byproduct that many West Germans say they can live without. NATO Air Force officials say the training is necessary, and the commander of the 17th Air Force in Europe, Major General Richard Pascoe, says many considerations are taken into account before missions are scheduled.
A population base of more than 100,000 is a restricted area, and we do not overfly that in low-level flight. There are other areas that we avoid overflight either by altitude or by radius because they are sensitive in nature, and such areas would be a nuclear power generation plant. We either avoid low altitude overflight of that area, or we avoid it by a prescribed radius of activity.
In an effort to better educate the public, Air Force officials allowed the press to talk with pilots and inspect the F-16 at Simbach Air Base. This after allegations in a German tabloid, which included charges that U.S. fighter maintenance crews used chewing gum to repair some parts of the F-16, an allegation which drew a heated response from General Pascoe.
Anyone that would suggest that a military organization with the reputation for professionalism that I think that the United States Air Force has would subject human life and the very expensive equipment that we operate, which, by the way, was reported erroneously as 20 million marks, and in fact the F-16 can cost as high as $25 to $26 million to repair procedures that include chewing gum. The idea is beyond my comprehension.
17th Air Force officials are seeking a rebuttal to the article. In Frankfurt, Sergeant Charlie Gill, AFN News.
The USO has been serving military people since 1941. The organization was created to provide recreational, entertainment, and social facilities for the armed forces. Well, the USO in Wiesbaden has gone a step further. They gained support from the city government and the military community to provide a Welcome to Germany program for incoming soldiers. Ralph Stinson has more.
The program is called Welcome to Wiesbaden, and it's been run by the USO for a little more than a year. Its purpose is to make newcomers to the community feel welcome and more comfortable in their new surroundings.
It helps people basically to get settled a little bit quicker than it would happen otherwise. No doubt people can learn, for example, how to deal with a German grocer or on the streets in Germany or with their landlord or in a restaurant, what have you. But all this will take time if you don't have somebody showing you how to do it.
First, the new arrivals meet at the ACS Center, where they're given a brief explanation on things like the public transportation system and the care and feeding of the German telephone. Then everybody hits the streets for a practical demonstration.
It's something to help me get more familiar with Germany and feel a little more comfortable with the surroundings and things like that.
How to get around, how to ride the bus, the train, where things are, the museums, that kind of thing.
I showed them everything, every little single thing what you can think of, you know, which seem to be very simple, but, you know, it's a big help for them. And so I hope next time when I go on my shopping tour, I will have a lot more company with me and show them around.
The best part of the program is the walking tour of the downtown shopping areas, where the ins and outs of buying stuff on the economy is explained in great detail. And then it's time for a break. Lunch is provided free at a typical German restaurant. In Wiesbaden, Ralph Stinson, AFN News.
In our final segment on the Army Emergency Relief Program, Gloria Wilson talks about why you should contribute to the AER campaign that's currently underway in Userer.
Should you find yourself in need of